Letting us do this. Our final performer is exactly what we're all about, just a very unique individual, a really cool human being, and I don't feel like I'm introducing a comedian. I feel like I'm introducing you to a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I love this guy. Let's welcome and take this home with R.A. Bartlett.
Do you guys ever personify things that aren't people?
Yes.
I sometimes personify things that aren't even things. Like I personify numbers. I give numbers personalities. They all have their little soap opera going on. Like I have 1 is kind of the wise old man, and you have 3 is kind of the immature prankster. I have 7, 8, and 9 are like sisters. Like I think like a coven of witches, because they look like the cast of Hocus Pocus. You know, there's some numbers that I like, some numbers that I don't like, some numbers that I have a grudging respect for. Like, 5's not that bad a guy. He's kind of a douchebag, but it's not his fault that 4 wants to get with him. I imagine 4 is the hottest number, which I guess means I have a thing for Keira Knightley or something, because 4 is very angular and has that sort of elegant scarf going around her neck. I think I relate the most to 2. I see 2 as a very quiet, sort of shy guy. 2 has a huge crush on 4, which is why I like seeing the number 24. Because I'm like, oh, they got together, that's great. But I don't like seeing 42. Because it looks like 2's kind of following 4 around. Like, don't be creepy, 2. The thing about having Asperger's is, I really like Jane Austen novels, because for me it's like reading other people being as awkward as I am. Now some of you are thinking, come on, how can you have Asperger's and be up here on stage talking to us? And that's something you most don't seem to get is, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking at you. And that makes all the difference. It's amazing the things you can do outside your comfort zone when you don't have a comfort zone. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Asperger's, which would be weird because this is Cambridge, it's kind of like diet autism, or crystal autism because they're trying to discontinue it. Big thing going on right now, people are protesting vaccines because they're afraid that vaccines will give their kids autism. And I don't know how to take this, where apparently it's better that your kid die of an obsolete 19th century disease than end up like me. He could have the measles, or he could never remember the Avengers in chronological order. It's a toss-up. I watch a lot of sci-fi movies. I saw the latest Transformers. Well, I didn't so much see it as I had a seizure. So I imagine that's the same thing. I think they're running out of ideas because the latest Transformers is they're bringing out the dinosaur robots, which if you ask me are the dumbest of the Transformers. Because the premise of Transformers is robots in disguise. That's a terrible disguise. They're not going to be able to blend in with the other dinosaurs. Which brings me to point number 2. There aren't any more dinosaurs. Calling the police, officer, you didn't come out quickly. This robot's destroying the city. Oh wait, no, never mind. Now it's a dinosaur. To be honest, I prefer when it's the robot. Because at least it wasn't biting things. Watch a lot of sci-fi movies. I saw this, it's an old movie, Minority Report.
Yeah.
I saw it, it's a weird movie because there aren't any minorities in it. Which seemed doubly odd because the premise of Minority Report is that the police can arrest you before you commit a single crime. Not even sure that's science fiction. girls there, and two of them were trying to comfort their friend who was crying, saying, no, you gotta get rid of this guy, he's an absolute loser. He spends all day in his dorm just smoking weed, not going to class. And then there was that thing they said about you to his landlord. And the other friend was like, what did he say to his landlord? And I guess the boyfriend had said, oh, I don't have a problem with fat people. Have you met my girlfriend? And I was kind of like, which drew attention to myself, which is never good, but I was like, you can't get rid of him. And she says, you don't understand, he gets very depressed. I'm afraid if I break up with him, he's going to kill himself. And I'm like, he's the pothead you're making him out to be. He's not going to get around to killing himself. And that was how I threw a troubled young man under the bus to impress a bunch of co-eds who weren't going to have sex with me anyways. Like, I know some girls are into older guys, but I don't think I'm one of those older guys. I don't exactly scratch that daddy issues itch. The kind of fathers I resemble were there for their kids.